I am ready to go live. You're live. Hey, please don't make fun of us.
we
Here
were
we
all
are for Dork Court.
Yes.
Steve Ukraine, Walker Young had a little headphone trouble for me, so that's always a drama.
We all heard one another, but no one, but one person. We were skipping each other for a moment there. So
I just had some troubles. Okay, well, let's get into this. Steve, I know you don't care about Star Trek.
I did see some posting about how they're selling all the props and all that stuff. Did I read that right?
Yeah. I don't know if that's even actually Star Trek, but my prop guys said up in Toronto there are 2 giant sci-fi shows that have been going on for years that are moving their stuff out as they deliver it to the warehouse. Isn't that cool?
That's
so
nice.
Like, if you're looking for something particular, like say it is Discovery, right? You're dying to have the captain's chair, right? You better hope that it's there on Tuesday, or you have to camp out there and wait until it shows up. And even
exactly.
Kurtzman stole it, right?
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it's neat, but no, I brought that up because Walker and I crushed the ACOLYTE today.
Oh, but isn't that Star Wars? You said Star Trek.
It is. So my point was, I know you hate Star Trek, but have you watched? Have you watched ACOLYTE?
I have not. I have not watched. But no. But I just got back from Southern California, hence the brightness, the color. I don't look like my wall.
You do look tanned and rested.
Yes. Well, rested. I don't know about tanned for sure. We drove back last night, so we rolled in.
It's kind of a haul for you. Drove to San Diego, and then you're going to come back down with us.
We did Carlsbad, a little more north.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. The Legoland. Did you go there?
We actually didn't even do Legoland. We did like a lot of we did like beach and resort stuff. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah, it was nice. It was very relaxing. I worked a couple days, but I took off. Well, we had off Juneteenth Wednesday, and then I took off Thursday. So we just got to pal around and see the nice. And it's been beautiful weather down in Southern California. So no complaints. So I'm a little behind on TV shows, although I did see Donald Sutherland died, which was super sad.
That's a bummer, but he was old.
Well, right, he was in it, but it isn't the old adage like crazy where like everyone dies in threes, where it's like Willie Mays passed away, which is crazy. Donald Sutherland, and now it's just like I'm just waiting for the third. Like I don't know who it is. It's just like
Yeah, it does always happen that way. It seems odd, but
unusual.
It's just how it filters into the pop culture landscape, right? Have you ever heard that, Walker?
Yeah. There was a TV show. Was it 30 Rock that was talking about it, where Drake was like, "I don't want to die."
Right.
He would be the third.
Exactly. Who's going to be? And that was funny because I think yesterday Morgan Freeman was trending, but it was like Morgan Freeman was trending because he's alive. Like I'm alive.
He's not dead, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's just like how it looks to people because people are dying all the time. It's like, well, people die in threes. I guess. Yeah. You take 3 people and they're dead. You're right.
Right. Like, like I'm sure if I went down to the San Francisco General, there would be like I'm sure there's more than 3. But
people die in 50s over here.
Yeah.
So anyway. Pop culture though. Walker Young has the pop culture question of the universe. He needs to.
Okay.
I do have this.
Okay.
I think it's my fault that I told everybody 20 minutes ago. So I think people are going to discover this later and not live. But this is a valid pop culture question. So hit it.
Okay.
So it's a well-known fact that Arnold Schwarzenegger for the shooting of Terminator trained himself to not blink when he shot a gun.
Correct. Because he thought a robot wouldn't react to anything. So yes.
So do we think that Arnold Schwarzenegger keeps?
Wait. Now tell the second part about the phototropic sneeze response. That when you see the sun,
you sneeze and stuff. There are parts of your brain that just like
automatically do that. It's a reaction. Yeah. You can't.
No controlling over sneeze. And what happens when you sneeze?
It's a reflex. You blink.
Close your eyes.
You blink, yeah.
You cannot keep your eyes open during a sneeze. So the question is,
so can Arnold Schwarzenegger keep his eyes open when he sneezes?
Can Arnold Schwarzenegger keep his eyes open when he sneezes as the Terminator?
No,
he's retrained himself to not blink reflexively when a gun is going off an arm's length away from his face. So can you train yourself to keep your eyes open when you're sneezing? And because I need to know that, because you can't keep your eyes open when you sneeze when you're driving, and that you're closing your eyes for a second. And if you're like me, where you sneeze 3 times in a row, that your eyes are closed for about a second and a half while you're driving at 60, 75 miles an hour. And that's not cool.
You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say he probably can.
I think he can too, but
and I'm just going to say, the reason I'm thinking that is because there are such fascinating things that people can do with their body that are just like us 3 on here could never comprehend of even being able to do that they're able to do. Like, and that's just basic physical feats of like strength, of like agility, of things like that.
Yeah.
Keeping your eyes open when you sneeze, yeah, why not? It's just muscle.
Look at Walker. I am physically unable to run the 40 in 5.11, and Walker can. He's somehow trained himself.
Right.
That's where you're at now, right?
I'm gonna break. I'm gonna get a sub 5 on Monday.
Yeah, you're at 5:03 now, right?
I'm at 5:03. My best.
Is that your mile?
40-yard dash.
No.
Oh, 5. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Because I was like,
5 seconds.
There you go. Okay.
With 3/100ths of a second, you can tell anybody who doesn't have a stopwatch in their hand that that's 5 seconds flat. So that's awesome. You're running.
It's close, but it's not.
You're running 8 yards a second.
Yeah, that's
roughly. Nice. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. That also helps to be tall. Which
helps to be tall. Well, whatever, people can.
Again, to the point. Like I think if anyone could train any muscle in their body, I think Arnold Schwarzenegger is a good one to start with. And I'm assuming that keeping your eyes open when you sneeze is obviously it's a reaction or a reflex that you can't control, but it is muscle. And if there's anyone who's going to get down to the bottom of it to figure out how to work that muscle, it would be, pumping iron Arnold Schwarzenegger.
My read on this is that I think he can already do it as a function of training himself for the gun thing, because that's amazing. When you think about it, something popping off right in your face, it's just a reflex to flinch, right? He trained himself not to flinch because robots wouldn't flinch. That's great. So he feels a sneeze coming in and he goes, choo.
Yeah.
Yes, I've defeated the sneeze. It's like.
I'm actually, if you think about it, I'm sure I'm trying to think of like Buckingham Palace, like guards and people like that. And like, there are definitely people that have trained themselves to have like no reaction to like noise of any kind.
Yeah, true.
But I guess the gun in your hand, it's a little different.
Well, the gun, you're pulling the trigger, so it's coming.
It's coming, so you could react.
You have a second.
You have anticipation to it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how you'd control that.
Right. It's an internal reflex, right? It's not an outside force that you're reacting to.
That's crazy.
That was the question.
I love it.
All of this has made me do, Walkers. I'm going to train and with you to not
close your eyes when you sneeze.
Yeah. See if we can do it. Just like,
see if you. Hey, better idea. See if you can not sneeze.
No, I sneeze so much. I think I'm low key allergic to something in our house.
That's easy.
Might be comics. The dander in comics, I think, is what.
I'm allergic to stupidity. That's what it is. That's sneezing all the time. The world is just. I don't know. I don't like it.
Well, did you see? Well, I haven't watched the Star Wars thing, but I did read that Benedict Cumberbatch was interviewed about something, and he confirmed Avengers 5 starts filming next year.
Oh, cool.
And he is in it, but that's all he has disclosed, obviously. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. I mean, we knew all that.
Yeah.
And right? I mean, there's
5 years. Yeah.
There's no stopping the Marvel juggernaut.
No.
In 5-10 years, everybody's going to look back on it and go, oh, that was all explicable by that coronavirus strike thing. And no one's going to say a word again. Like Star Wars, which the reason I bring this up is you must know that the fanboys are going insane about the Acolyte.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just because girls are involved. And it's like no one understands the context of the stuff they're interacting with, because they're like, well, the Jedi robes look wrong. Well, yeah, no, they don't. They're just white instead of brown because it's 100 years before the Star Wars movies.
Right. They might be a little
What
nicer.
do you not get about that?
Right.
100 years ago, like, girls had flapper dresses. They didn't look the same. It's the same thing operating. What the fuck is the matter with you? Oh, look, and there's girls, and there's Asian guys, and there's a Wookiee, but he shaved his head. Oh my God, that's not Star Wars. It's like, what are you people doing?
A Wookiee who shaved his head, who is a Jedi, I feel is one of the most Star Wars things out there,
I agree.
Like, if a Wookiee is out there swinging a lightsaber, like, he turns around really fast, and, like, his hair, like, goes and just cuts off in the lightsaber that he's just holding up. So he's like, oh, well, we're not going to do that anymore.
Well, here's what I always say. We came to this realization, I think, into the second season of The Mandalorian, where it was just like, it's Filoni and Favreau playing with their toys.
Yeah.
And kind of it's the impression I get with the Acolyte and some of the, where it's just like, oh, no. I have my own Star Wars toys that I played with, and my Wookiee didn't have hair, and he's a Jedi. And it's like, oh, you didn't play like that with your group of toys? Oh,
right,
okay,
exactly.
Cool.
What's the first thing you did? Is like
that's a no-brainer.
He's got a lightsaber.
Right, to me, that was always like, which is why the acceptance of The Mandalorian always made the most sense to me. Hey, Larry, are you next to your face, or are you not next to your face?
I am next to my face.
I'm going to move you.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
Yeah. I know you hate that. I was watching it and I was like, it's weird that way. So this way, Toxic Avenger is by, well, I don't know if it's Toxic. Well, which Toxic Avenger? I don't know.
Yes. No, that hand's by me. Yes.
Okay. But
anyway,
no, you. I mean, that's my opinion. So it's like, and why does everything have to be the same? Can it be different? And here's the beauty of it. If it's 8 episodes or 10 episodes or 2 seasons or 8 seasons, guess what? That storyline sits right here. And your Star Wars sits right here. Like, what's the difference? Nothing is changing anything, which is always what,
that's what I don't get.
Yeah. I always
why we grew up, I like new things. It was 3 years between Star Wars movies, so we had 36 comics to read, right? That was great. And guess what? It was all different shit because everybody has different adventures, right? And so I just like that these are the different adventures. It's clearly Star Wars. There's a bunch of Star Wars shit happening. Like Walker said, except I'm with him. The Wookiee doesn't shave his head. He just fucking kind of cuts it off by accident, swinging that shit around because he's 8 feet tall.
Right?
Okay, like that's awesome. And like you said, somebody had a Chewbacca that they just pulled around by the head, and after a while, their hands just rubbed the paint off or something, and they were like, "Yeah, right on. He's got a haircut."
Yeah, right, like he's the Wookiee that looks different. He's but. This is how simple-minded some fans can get. Marvel introduced a TV show, Loki, which technically had the ability to go and retcon every single thing they ever wanted to fix. And they could have, and they didn't. They just said, I have a show where I can change everything, and we're not going to. And that just goes to show you, so the Acolyte is the Acolyte, and it sits in its own it sits in the Star Wars universe, and it might impact what you've currently seen, but it's really not, because no one's going back and remaking Star Wars to change what you know. It's all I don't know. It just seems weird to be so up in arms over it.
It's the Star Wars thing, because me bellyaching about Star Trek. It's because it's off-brand, which has been up for 60 years, right? So even normal people can go, yeah, that doesn't really read like Star Trek, but Star Wars has kind of been doing the same thing for the last 40 years. So when they tried something different with The Mandalorian, right? And Filoni, I remember this forever. He's like, yeah, this came from the fact that I had a Boba Fett, and then somebody gave me another Boba Fett for my birthday, and you can't have two Boba Fetts. So I just painted mine silver, and that's The Mandalorian. Yes, that's what everyone did. More adventures in Star Wars land, right? Like Walker's got this new vest that he bought, and we walk around in stuff going, oh, that's a little Han Solo, or this will work for this guy, or, I'm a spice trader. Or we'll see something like in the latest one, like, oh, she's dressing like Cal Kestis, which is a Star Wars video game. Like, it doesn't matter the format. It's just, does that read like Star Wars? Absolutely.
Right. Could it sit in the universe? Right. Could it sit in the universe? Yeah. All right. Yeah. I'm in.
Absolutely.
Like, does it have to be like, again, you're also not selling it as the direct, like this takes place immediately after New Hope. Like, no, that's not even the case. It's 100 years. It's 100 years before.
Don't even try figuring it out. It's 100 years.
It's exactly. But it's just.
But nobody does that. They're like, how does this fit into my worldview?
Well, but as we always say, it's like, it's easy to shit on something than it is to kind of praise it. Everyone can,
Yes.
Like my old theory when I used to go to the movies was like, if I see something new that I've never seen in another movie before, I really can't complain about it because I've seen something I've never seen before, or it's something unique. So like, even if I feel it's very cookie cutter, if I'm watching something and I'm like, holy shit, I've never seen that in an action movie before, although the movie might have sucked, that action scene was really cool. That's unique. And that's pretty cool. And I just think people are so beholden to be like, first off, go tell like the kid that grew up in and passed away in like 87, who never got any more Star Wars stuff. And you're complaining that we're on like our 6th post movie TV series. Like, go back and think about when you're like, I don't know, like I can go back and think of when I had like my Star Wars toys and my G.I. Joe toys to think like at that time I got a G.I. Joe cartoon movie. Like that was like unheard of. Like you got the TV, you got like a full length movie and it probably didn't do very well. So we never got another one. But then every other adventure was my head with those toys, until 2000s when they decided to make the movies when, it's crazy to think that people would like, and especially when it's not done. Like, where is it going? Like, let it go where it's going to go before you destroy it.
Stop complaining about Moby Dick on chapter 4, right?
Right.
It's like, you don't know what's happening. Yeah, those people are crazy.
Anyway.
Walker, how do you consume that entertainment? Because we come up from it like, well, in the old days, we had sticks and oily rags to play with. And, but you get the whole, well, it's a Star Wars thing, and that's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I find it very, I look at watching TV shows like now, like you're basically in this giant comic store where you can read anything, where like, because like we had this conversation where it's like if I'm watching 2 episodes of The ACOLYTE or 3 episodes of The ACOLYTE and I go, I don't like this anymore, I'll stop reading it, or I'll stop watching it, and I can go on something else.
Like a normal person. Oh, that's not for me.
So
I hope the people like it, enjoy it.
I don't have to shit on it because I mean, if there are people I'm talking to and they're like, oh, why did you like it? I'll be like, oh, well, the 3rd episode was just complete setup and horse crap, and I just it didn't captivate me. I wasn't there for it. But that was 1 episode, so I'm still gonna stick through it. And the end of episode 4 really should have been the end of episode 1. But that doesn't matter. They wanted to build stuff up. I'm gonna wait till the end of the show, and if it doesn't pay off, then I'll be mad. But
isn't that the whole point? Like that's how I look at things. Like here I'm gonna preface this by saying, there's a new Blade Runner TV show. Guess what? People are gonna fucking hate it. And they're going to hate it before it even comes out. And after an episode, they're going to fucking hate it. and then after 3 episodes, they're going to hate it. And most normal people are going to watch it and be like, holy shit, this is amazing. Because everyone's going to be looking for like, well, where's Harrison Ford? Why isn't Harrison Ford in it? And it's just like, why is it not exactly like the first Blade Runner I saw? And it's like, because people can't comprehend that it's it's taking place in the universe. It doesn't have to be like,
how can they not comprehend that? That's the bit. I think you're right, and I don't understand.
You know why?
Why?
I think a lot of them have never read sequential comic books. And I think they don't understand the idea. No, I'm telling you, I think comic books definitely aids in your like, because you can read a book. And I think with a comic, the idea that I would read like a chapter of a story and maybe not get the next chapter of that story for like a year,
a month,
a year. Right? But you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's been 8 months. I don't have Green Arrow #7. I have all the rest sitting next to my bed, but I can't bring myself to read them and skip the 7th one.
Right. And here's the thing.
That makes sense.
Right now, your brain, how does your brain comprehend the story you're reading for Green Arrow? You're like, it's incomplete.
It's been put on pause.
Yeah, right. You don't read it, right?
So it's like the same. It's the same logic for like a television show. It's like the story's not over yet. Yeah, you introduced me to all the characters, and the story's moving in one direction, but like I don't know what's happening. There's no, I don't know. Bad analogy, but it's kind of how my brain has been looking at these things because I'm just
I don't think it's that bad of an analogy. I think there's something to that, but I don't understand why they can't make the adjustment. Just go. This is just, because it's not like, are you a fan of LA Law? It's the same fucking thing. Did you watch, like, it's any television show. There's this thing, and then the A story completes, but the B story goes in the next week. And then that B story becomes A, and their B story, that's C story. It's like, what the fuck?
Main consumers of television shows are people my age, or a little bit older, who've grown up going,
well, that's true. Attention span is like under a minute, 30 seconds to a minute. So like, oh, you didn't give me everything I wanted in 30 seconds to a minute. Whereas like, again, I'm not trying to age us, but we're older where like you said, Larry, it's like you waited 3 years between the Star Wars movies and your only consumption would have been like the paperback, screenplay. And then like the comic books, like that's
whatever books they had. Like I remember Art of Star Wars got me through Empire to Jedi because it was the screenplay for the first one and just all the behind the scenes models and shit. And so I just did behind the scenes models and Walker's seen it. Rick Austin and I drew the Bounty Hunters comic book and did some cool.
Do you have a copy of that?
Cool live action stuff. Covers.
Oh, I've seen the movie. I saw the movie.
Yeah, you saw the movie, but we did an adaptation and started another adventure that was the Bounty Hunters against the Empire.
And that's not on. We haven't put that on DVD. You have to give that to me digitally so I can do some stuff with that. Because we could do some fun stuff with that, like a Blu-ray or something. How about that? Like
all the stuff that Rick and I shot when we were kids, you could make into a cool trailer.
Oh, 100%.
Guys running around with guns and capes and models.
But don't you want it in a don't you want a DVD case or like a VHS tape or something?
I don't.
I know. Anyway.
I'll just go and make comics for San Diego. Like
there you go.
Walker Young and Steve Euchrin.
Yeah.
So Walker, tell Steve what was going on in the house yesterday when I was getting all the info from Emma, our print rep at RA Comics Direct for Steve's book. Steve Euchrin's. Wait, how have you not seen this? Coming live and direct. Probably have copies Wednesday or Thursday.
That's insane.
So if you want to come into town, have some lunch or dinner, I'll give them to you.
Oh,
otherwise, I can. I'll send you 5 or something. I don't know how many you want, and then I'll take the rest down to San Diego. I don't know.
Yeah, we can figure it out. You tell me when you get them. I'm in San Francisco Tuesday for work, so we'll figure it out. We can totally figure it out. There's a non-zero chance they come Tuesday, but it's not. Yeah. No. That's probably
this though is your your certificates of authenticity for the.
Oh, yeah, for my angry girlfriend. Love
Yeah,
it.
Mark's got his because you were the only guys who got them before there were certificates of authenticity.
Yeah, exactly. So are we sure ours are still legit, or
You just put them in the bag, right? Who's gonna know when did this come in? This
right.
certificate of authenticity is obviously 10 days younger than the actual book that's authenticating.
That's the best part. Are we gonna try to CGC one?
I'm definitely gonna. I just haven't got around to it. I don't want to hear that Marvel's got something to say about it before San Diego, so I'm kind of keeping it.
Okay.
I'm still talking about it, but I'm not making big announcements about it. I'm just flowing them around to my friends and retailers and see what they do and talk.
Have you seen the horrible San Diego tickets?
Oh no! Now what?
With the Paramount, it's got a Paramount Plus logo on it. Instead of actually getting like a show or something.
Are they sending the tickets around? We better get ours. God damn it!
The badges. I know. Yeah, I saw someone posted in one of the channels, and they were like, "Hey, can I shit on the badge for this year? Because at least last year it had like, I don't know, was it Ring of Power or whatever
it was." Yeah, it was either that or it was the that heavy metal thing.
Anyway,
it art over it.
Yeah. Anyway, it didn't look bad, but I think this year has it's just the Paramount Plus logo. It's like it's really sad.
I mean, the badge thing is for fans. I don't care as long as it works and it beeps me in and out. I don't care what's on it.
Yeah,
I immediately put some Planet Lair or Dork related art over it anyway. If people are looking at my badge and name, I want them to see Astronauts in Trouble or Walker Young or something.
But like,
oh yeah, there you go.
Oh, that's just boring.
I mean, but
that's.
Do we have to, like, now? I'm almost like, okay, I know the dimensions of that. We need to make a sticker or something that goes there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just no one will want to walk around with that.
If I didn't know this and I got on site, the first thing I'd do is put our San Diego, we took the logo and put Walker's head.
Yeah, exactly.
There, and it says Dork underneath. I would put that sticker right over the middle of that and call it a day.
Yeah. I mean, normally
anyway.
Yeah, normally I rip out the magazine with the times and I stick that in the back because that's always the most important. That's the one question I've been asked more than anything.
Yeah, else. That is useful. That's what we should do.
It's like what time is it over?
When's the floor open?
Yeah. Anyway,
Timmy's in the well. There you go. Timmy's in the well. No, Timmy's in the condiments section. Airplane 2 never loses my attention for even a second. I like it because William Shatner's in it, but I didn't need Airplane 2. San Diego wanted to do those when we roll into town. Yeah, they do. Stay out of our way. Nobody gets hurt.
Been there a couple times. It's the saddest part of San Diego Comic-Con is going for as many times as I've gone, seeing the same group of people that have done conventions, obviously more conventions than we do.
Just that one, yeah.
And how disorganized it could possibly be for them. Oh, that's the thing that just boggles my mind. It's like, it's so simple. It's such a simple thing you can prep for and prepare and just be a well-oiled machine. And you don't have to sweat and you don't have to stress and you don't have to, and we just roll in, be done, and you're done.
A long time to get there.
Yeah, that's 29 years of doing that.
Yeah, this is going to be our 29th year, Steve.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you get a special ribbon for that or no?
Well, if we have to make it ourselves.
Nice.
I'm all excited. Look at Dizzy Biscuit. This is the first appearance of Dizzy on Dork, I think.
She was here last time.
All right.
Yeah.
She was walking around down here asking my feet what was going on, and then 2 seconds later she's up there. I think that's great.
So besides ACOLYTE, what else have you been tackling, watching? Anything good?
Yellowstone.
Yeah, the fam is loving Yellowstone, aren't we, sir? What?
There's a lot of that, right? There's a lot.
Yeah.
Of
What do you think? What do you think, Walker? Tell us.
It's really good. I love it. It's less about. It's one of the things where the story is less about the situation that's going on, like the actions and situations, because it's always the same with just mildly different. Like, oh, they're gonna take the ranch from us again, but it's how the characters deal with those slight differences each season. That's really cool, and it's like watching the characters' relationships grow and change is really cool. And those are the shows I like.
I mean, I just think it's so cool that Cole Hauser, who is kind of like a background actor for a lot of his career, really kind of got an opportunity to shine, because I think he's been a good actor. He's just never kind of gotten the prominence that he deserved. And they always say you never know. As long as you keep on acting, you never know what rolls into your lap.
Yeah,
and I think that's just a cool role for him.
His career is awesome. Like he's a working actor, right? There's no shame, but like because his brother is Wings Hauser, who has the slightly cooler name, and now both brothers are working actors.
Oh,
there's
not
dad.
One that's his dad. That's his dad.
Are you sure?
Yeah. He's young. He's
okay.
young. Yeah, because I think Wings is. Oh, let me look. All right, I'm gonna look.
Cole Hauser is like my age, man. He's just darkening his beard and his hair.
Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. Gerald Dwight Wings Hauser is 76.
Oh, okay. It is his dad then. Yeah.
And his two kids are Cole and Bright.
Oh, okay.
Bright Hauser. That's a cool name.
I got it mixed up. But anyway, he's great
totally.
in that show.
Yeah.
Cool.
He's
I like that character. Do you watch that show?
I've it's one of those shows where I've watched a bunch of episodes in like a streak.
Well,
so I know it's on like
Peacock.
It's 4 seasons. It's like, because I know season 5 Costner's not coming back, so I know it's not. They haven't done
sort of.
Yeah.
I'm actually talking with Matt Hollingsworth about this right now. Costner, the whole thing of this show is really funny because Taylor Sheridan pitches it to him. He's like, "I need you. You're the guy. You're going to be the patriarch, and it's just a 1-season show. And if it hits, we'll do a long movie." And Costner goes, "Yes." Well, it hit bigger. And so he goes, "Look, I know what I said, but like I see 3 seasons. Here's what I have in mind." Costner goes, "Fuck yeah." But he thinks that's going to be it, right? And so then he starts developing Horizon.
Yeah. Yep.
And Taylor says, "We're going to do season 4 and 5." He's like, "Okay, but 5 is it, right?" And he's an executive producer. They make a lot of money. Thousands of people have jobs. It's hard to say no, right?
Oh, of course.
And so he goes, "Yeah, fuck yeah, let's do it." And then they make him sit for 14 weeks because, there's the strike, there's this, there's that, but they're not telling one of the executive producers what's going on, which is okay, except he's also the star of the show. 100%. So,
and he's
those
also
guys
Kevin
are
Costner.
fucking with him, and he's like, "I have this other movie going on.
Right.
There's no stress, but I'm starring and directing in this, and that's another thing. You guys told me this, I have to go." And they said, "You can't." And he's like, "I have to."
Right.
And they went, "Well, can you give us something for the first, because this is so fucked up. We're going to do season 5 in 2 parts. We're going to have like 3 or 4 episodes. We don't even fucking know. Can you do that?" And he goes, "I'll give you a week." And that's cool because you take that shooting week and you spread scenes out across
100%. You better have that.
You're good.
Yeah. If you're
right?
if you're a producer,
do that.
Yeah. Oh,
and the studio's throwing him under the bus, and he just will give Variety a quote anytime. And so that's why I started following it, because he's like, "Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about. That's not what happened." And then he won't badmouth them, but he won't. He just says,
it's
"Oh no, I had previous commitments, and I had to do that." And they can say that I did that, but I gave them a week, and they did what they did with it. Here, let me talk about Horizon, and that's how you know who the professional is, right?
I mean, it's kind of tough when you're like Costner, like you've won 2 Academy Awards. I'm pretty sure he's won an Emmy. It's kind of tough to like. He's one of those guys where it's like, what I always got the impression with him. Kevin Costner always reminded me the same as like Mel Gibson, whereas eventually they get to a point where they're just like, "Fuck you, I don't care." It's like, okay, but from a sense of like, I'm going to do what I want to do,
I understand.
regardless of what you say. And as long as you give me your word and we're honoring our words, I'm in. Like, that's not going to, and I feel like this sounds like another scenario where they're like, all right, we kind of like, and I'm sure what's his name, Tyler Sheridan, that's Tyler Sheridan, right? Yeah.
Taylor,
he probably, that's right. But he's like always like, probably coming back with his like tail between his legs and be like, please, please, please,
I'm sure he understands what's going on, but the studio is treating Kevin Costner like he's the star, and they're not treating him like he's Kevin Costner. Because your show collapses without that guy. Like, there's nobody that walks in and you get Michael Ironside to come in and like, I'm Bob Dutton now, or whatever.
Right.
It's not gonna work.
Well, it's you know what?
Anyway.
And that's funny because like there really isn't another, like you're doing like a Western or set in the Western. Like to your point, there really isn't another person you could put a hat on and push out there and be like, okay, you're going to kind of think about that. It's kind of like it doesn't necessarily die with him, but it's almost like you're really not going to put someone in there to, a B cast to kind of like keep it going a little bit.
Hey, Walker?
I think he froze.
Oh, he froze. Oh, never mind. I was just going to ask you something, pal. But speaking to your point of like the whole world building thing, right? The first thing so we started watching it because I love Kevin Costner. He's great. He's always a good, entertaining guy. And who doesn't like Westerns, right? But we're watching this, and then Walker and I start going, oh my God, this is great. And like there's 1889 or whatever. Oh, let's
enter the new Walker. There you go.
So we were saying, okay, this 1883 thing starring Sam Elliott is like Kevin Costner's grandfather or great grandfather. I don't know. I forget. And then Harrison Ford's his grandfather. That's what it is. So
right.
So they're not really, they're staying away from his dad because you never know. But man, we didn't watch like 7 episodes before Walker was going, all right, so Yellowstone 2050, Tate's finally taken over and he's running everything. And he's like, but that's world building. And everybody understands it that's watching Yellowstone. And I don't understand why they don't understand it when they're watching Star Wars. It's the same fucking thing. It's just their blasters don't shoot bullets. It's like they have calves and horses and shit instead of tauntauns. It's the same goddamn thing.
You know what?
One fan,
but Westerns teach you that, like Lonesome Dove and Return to Lonesome Dove, and like all, like I feel like they.
But again, that's why I don't get Star Wars because I don't have to teach you that. Because Boba Fett is Clint Eastwood. It's right there. The whole thing is a space western.
People are stupid.
Gets me excited. Let's see. Dennis Quaid. What's Timmy saying? I guess Dennis Quaid could.
I guess Dennis Quaid could. But I think Dennis Quaid.
There's guys you could cast, but it would be like the Duke cousins, right? Like, why are we like Bo and Luke? We don't like, Homer and whoever those guys were. What was it? Kale and Raspberry.
Who were the cousins?
Now I have to look it up.
Coy and Vance?
Yeah, Vance. Yeah, something like that. I hope it wasn't Cod.
Kay and Vance? Something like
Vance.
that?
I think you're right. Coy and Vance.
I think it's something like, hold on, let's look it up.
Vance is right.
Vance is right?
Yeah, I don't. And the other one sounds right. It's a short one-word thing. With a
both characters proved to be unpopular with the fans and were written out after 16 episodes. Oh yeah, I don't know the Vance is the only one that I remember. The cousin Vance. That's all I remember. I don't know why. Right. I wasn't a big Dukes of Hazzard fan.
Oh, you know what? I wasn't either. But my dad loved Daisy Dukes, so we watched that show.
What's not to like? But yes, that's an easy win.
Coy and Vance Duke for Moist.
Oh, it was Coy.
Season 5. Yeah.
I had the combo. I had Vance in my head immediately, so then I was just playing every Vance in my head.
Right. Coy and Vance.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Who was it played by? Did you say who?
I'm just looking at the Wikipedia with the plot overview.
Oh, funny.
It just says cousins Bo, John Snyder, and Luke, Tom Wopat, including Coy and Vance for most of season 5. But they don't.
Oh, I think Christopher Mayer. Oh, he passed away at 57. Let me see. He appeared on Star Trek Deep Space Nine as a security guard. There you go. He didn't have a lot of great acting roles. Vance Duke. Oh, he was Vance Duke. What else was he? Oh, I mean, he was a solid working TV actor.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I recognize. I'm looking at his thing. Yeah, I recognize him, but whatever. Beauregard Duke. Anyway, my father loved that show. He thought it was funny, and then we ended up living in Georgia. How about that?
Dukes of Hazzard had 147 episodes. You could squeeze 147 episodes out of Dukes of Hazzard. Think about that.
They weren't squeezing anything. That's they're just a couple of good old boys.
Yeah,
doing no harm.
Doing no harm. I was just going to say
that's all
you
ever saw. Been in trouble with the law. That runs forever.
Hey, Walker, have you ever seen a Dukes of Hazzard episode? Exactly.
I don't think we've even seen the movie, have we?
No.
We might have seen the movie. We were going through that Starsky and Hutch phase of seeing the dumb remakes.
Yeah, that's pretty good because that one's done by, if I remember correctly, Dukes of Hazzard is by the Beer Fest guy. The I can't think of what his name is.
Is it? I thought it was Todd Phillips.
No, it's Jay Chander, however you say it.
Oh yeah, Dad Walker. What were we just watching where that guy's name came up and I went, oh, Jay Kandakar, the Indian guy, right? It's a super long last name.
Yeah,
Chandakar.
he's like
he's pretty funny.
He's like friends with all the community guys. He's Broken Lizards. That's what he's a Broken Lizard.
Broken Lizard, yeah.
But you have Super Troopers. You ever see Super Troopers?
Yes, in fact, what's her name? Oh my God, I can't believe I'm zoning on her name. The girl did Jenny 1 for us. Writes Punisher now. It was a big shot 20 years ago. It was a big thing. Jesus. Becky Cloonan. God damn. Becky Cloonan worked on
did she really?
Cartoon for that Super Troopers, yeah.
Oh, that's
she
cool.
was working for Bakshi at that time, and Ralph Bakshi studio did that cartoon.
Okay, that's nuts.
So whenever anybody says Super Troopers, I always go Becky Cloonan when I can remember her goddamn name. Sorry, Becky, that was weird.
But Super Troopers is hysterical. Beer Fest is hysterical, and then they do a couple other ones that are. I actually didn't mind the second one, but yeah, he directed a couple things. I can't remember what. I just know he directed the Dukes of Hazzard. That was the one I knew off the top of my head.
2005, that movie came out, man.
Whoa!
Yeah,
really?
Jay Chandrasekhar.
Yeah. They were gonna. It's funny. He was like the.
Agreed. I love him.
Before Taika got got into the Marvel stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking with him because they were like, you can direct like comedy really well.
Oh man, I would love to see that guy do a Marvel movie.
Right? Anything. But he did like, I think he did some community episodes and stuff like that. Anyway.
Yeah, we just watched something. What have we been watching lately, sir?
We did
Masters. It's not that. TV? Are you doing something?
No, I'm thinking. Was it Royal Pains?
Yeah, absolutely. He
Royal
directed
Pains.
some episodes of Royal Pains. Thank you. That was driving me nuts.
Royal Pains. Did I ever see that? Oh, I've never seen that, but I know that's the one where the Flash is on that show.
Yeah,
or was on the show.
He's like 17.
He's really young.
He's really young. I love it. What a great show! It does what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
It's very light but fun. I love it.
Fonzie's his dad, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I've seen it. I've seen an episode or two.
I love collecting weird facts just from a writer's standpoint. You never know what's going to be weird dialogue in something you're writing. And that show is just full of it, which is so fun. Like we were watching this one episode and there's this, it's just this frothy sort of soapy thing, but it's still funny and actiony. Like people get into shit, but the conceit is it's in the Hamptons. So what are people really getting into there? And so it's all like, and it's the show that's got 8 seasons or something, right?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
So and it's not, it started as a network show, we think, right, sir?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Oh, it was.
So-
It was totally. And
So
then
the first
then it jumped
couple
to,
are not
then
8 episode seasons,
Yeah. Yeah, did it start on USA? Is it one of those?
It's something like that, But there was this one episode where this couple gets strange rashes, and they assume it's an STD, and it comes up as syphilis, and they're both yelling at each other because they're like, "No, we never cheated on each other. I didn't cheat on you." And they're like, "Oh yeah, I couldn't help but see that you're like you work in leather and with a concentration on armadillo. Do you deal with, when you go to get the skins, do you deal with live armadillos?" She's like, "Yeah." "You've ever been scratched by an armadillo?" "Oh yeah, look at this." "Oh, guess what? There's armadillos carry Hansen's disease, and that gives you false positives for syphilis, so that's cool. There's a thing though, Hansen's disease has a different name. It's leprosy, so you guys all have leprosy." So like armadillos like carry leprosy, just FYI.
That's
so
awesome.
Don't mess with the armored creatures down south, I guess.
That's funny. But that's
Anyway, like that made me watch like every other episode now.
That's
like,
cool.
Something like that happens every episode. It's great.
When you write good dialogue, there was a show. So I will check that out. I've definitely watched a couple episodes. I actually started watching. Do you ever see the USA show Burn Notice? Did you ever see that? Yeah.
Bruce Campbell's in that.
Yes, he is towards the end. I don't think
that's what I started watching it towards the end.
It was I remember watching it pretty religiously, and then I dropped off. But I was like, man, I want to watch that because I really like that actor. I think he's now I can't think of it now. The name's completely escaping me.
It's the guy from Burn Notice.
Yeah, Jeffrey Donovan, because he's also
I don't think I ever knew his name actually.
Yeah, he's in. What was the what did he do that I saw that he was? Oh, well, he's in the both of the Sicario films.
Oh, right.
Because he's just like this super badass military guy with the glasses. I don't know. He always plays a good role. Like, anyway, I was cranking through those, and then I always, whenever I do that, then I immediately watch like a couple episodes of House, because House is just like, it's exactly like your thing, where it's just like, for the dialogue alone, you're just like too good.
I just like Royal Pains because it's really quirky in a good way. Not like I'm adorkable, like when the marketing way of being quirky. It's quirky because it's just fucking weird and off, and they're playing through. And I love stuff like that.
Well, and like you said, it's in a unique scenario or a unique location where it can get a little quirky and weird because of money and access, and just like, okay, this could get a little weird. So it like, you have an opportunity to go down some weird rabbit holes, which is kind of cool. Like, you kind of want to have like a setting where it can expand into those areas. Where when it's too restricted, it's kind of like, again, we're back to the Star Wars thing. When it's so restricted, it's just one little like desert planet. You're just like, oh my god, how many times am I going to see someone like kick dirt? It's just like, I don't know. Anyway,
what about you, Walker? When did you start watching? You just ran across it on Netflix and went, that looks good, and you're on like season 4.
It's nuts.
Is that it?
Yeah, I just found it on Netflix.
What do you like about the characters, or?
I think it's nice to have on in the background. They have good. It's like good episodic storytelling where it's like each episode has its own story, but you get snippets of a larger story, which is cool.
I wish they did that with Star Trek, because they really do that. It's like, here's this weird thing, but you're in one spot, but there's just crazy stuff that happens. And it's like, in Star Trek, they're like, you're in a science fiction world, and you're not doing the craziest stuff we can think of.
That makes no sense.
It just makes no sense. Because one of these episodes, because it's rich people, somebody hires like, the guy who plays Trash Man or Garbage Man, who's like this, Arnold Schwarzenegger guy, come into town for birthday parties. And because he's a nice guy, and he remembers when he was a waiter or he was a bouncer, I think, bodyguard. Now he's like a famous guy, so he doesn't say no to anybody, and he's starting to make himself sick. And so but the best bit was he has this outfit, right? That he travels with his gear, and he has 14 different kinds of teeth, and they have like these cool dentures with like barbed wire coming out, broken glass and stuff. And so that's what was getting him his dental adhesive. It's full of zinc, and he was ODing on zinc, and he was like, it was affecting his nervous system. It was great.
Yeah, see, that's perfect.
I feel like I want to do a Burn Notice movie. I need that Burn Notice.
No, I know Royal Pains, but it's also like, but think about that, like how simple of a concept and then flip it on its head when you have Star Trek, where it can be completely insane, outrageous, all over the place, and it doesn't. Like, how does that?
I'll tell you exactly what the problem is. Alex Kurtzman and everybody there, he hires all his buddies from inside of TV, and they think they know how to write TV, and it doesn't matter what the subject is because they know how to do TV. Well, that's not it at all, because Royal Pains has 3 medical advisors. And I was telling Walker, it's like MASH. Like, every single episode of MASH came from the 2 notebooks Larry Gelbar and the other guy wrote down when they were doctors in Korea.
Right.
So, like, they just were, this is all crazy because this is stuff that actually happened to us, and we're making it into TV, and we have Alan Alda. So, right? And that's all that Royal Pains is doing. These 3 guys, like, went through medical school and got their doctors to the point where they're advisors in Hollywood now. They have seen some crazy ass shit. Yes. Like, I guarantee you somebody in Hollywood had zinc overdose. Right?
and definitely someone got scratched by an armadillo. 100%.
And it sounds like the craziest shit. And so all the Star Trek guys have to do is hire some science fiction guys, because the medical guys see weird shit, and science fiction guys, that's what they do. They make up weird shit. And there's a whole audience that wants weird shit. And they're like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if Kirk went to the Peach Pit and ordered a milkshake? Come on.
So, but I guess that's what it is.
Walker's frozen again.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay. I just, you know what? To your point, it's so funny because you're exactly right. The science fiction shows are trying to become more of sitcoms, and the sitcoms realize that, and some of them, if they're smart, expand their audience and their creativity and kind of just go, with the one you were talking about the last week with the locker,
Dave Jones,
right, where it's like, okay, the other shows aren't going to be that crazy from a science fiction standpoint. We'll be crazy. You know what I mean? Like, even the new Doctor Who stuff, it's like it's not as crazy as it used to be. Like, Doctor Who was nutso, and it's just like it's getting more and more like, I can kind of almost know where it's going, and you're just like, yeah, that's not Doctor Who. Why are you trying to make something that was so abnormal normal?
Yeah,
I don't know. That's probably a good.
Here's another one though. Speaking of, if you don't hire experts in the field, at least build a show around somebody who's an expert in what they do. Because Walker, talk about tires now.
Oh yeah,
this is another show that we just fucking crushed.
Tires?
8 episodes. Yeah.
It's about a just an auto body shop.
Oh, that's the Shane Gillis show. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah. Workplace comedy with Shane Gillis, right? Because he's the expert. You just put the camera on him, have him surround some people with weird quirks, have him say weird shit to him, and call it a day.
Well,
we watched that in like 3 days. It was so good.
That's the American Letterkenny.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good way of putting it.
Because it's like the one comedian Stavros guy is in that, and I think Andrew Schultz is in it, Shane Gillis, all those comedian guys. They're all comedians. Yeah. They're all stand-up comedians.
Yeah.
You can it's just like, well, but you know what? Listen, it's the most perfect premise. Back in the day when those guys started, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, it was like they rented a bar. We are going to tell a story, but we're going to kind of crack jokes, and we're going to write a comedy. And it's just going to be us, and this is going to be the setting, and roll with it. Uh-huh. And I'm sure that's what this one is. It's used cars or cars?
It's a workplace comedy. It's a tire repair place.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
and it's
rent a building, and we will just spit out funny shit all day. And That's
They did
yeah,
that with Superstore. Like their
Oh,
standing
exactly.
set was just like this old Walmart that they bought.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's where we shoot now. And so
Listen,
I'm sure that's what they did. Yeah.
I
I was sad there weren't 8 seasons for me to watch all at once. That show was just consistently funny up and down the street.
Well, I always used to say, me and Mark could write a TV show about the comic book store we worked in, but I could 1,000% could write 10 seasons from Best Buy, from my
Okay, hey,
experience
Walker.
at Best Buy. So
Yeah.
So we're not going to say the title because somebody will steal it, even with the 3 people that are watching this. But you should get with Steve and do your comic.
Oh
book
yeah,
story.
yeah, okay, okay, yeah.
So
Yep.
he's got the perfect title.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah, me and Mark have always
it seems like why has no one but Susan Silverman ever tried to do anything set in a comic book store? And then you surround it with Susan Silverman and a bunch of idiot comic book guys who like comics, and that's not a good show because that's everybody being funny. You want to do Clerks with a comic book store.
Well,
Yeah.
100%. Well, you know what you actually
Funnier,
need
though.
is you need to
Maybe not as
actually
much tricks.
yeah,
More
you have to, the unique thing about working in a comic book shop is, although I am a crazy dork, and as is Mark, I'd like to think we aren't the dorkiest of the dorks.
Yeah,
where we could actually pass in society. Exactly. So when you can pass in society, you then have the gauge to judge the dorkness that comes in and the questions and stuff. So I always thought the scenarios were very different. I mean, I had a girlfriend when I worked at a comic book store. She's my wife now.
That's
I have children.
Exactly, man. You do the store where the guys running it, like the beginning credits are all like kissing your wife goodbye and dropping your kid out from school, and then like putting on your thing suit to go
right. Yeah,
open the
exactly.
door or whatever.
Exactly. Getting
that's awesome. I love it.
Well, there you go. Well, maybe we'll
another $1 billion idea from Dork.
Let's start. Maybe we have something to spitball while we're down there. So
that's a long ride to San Diego.
I was gonna say that's what, 7 hours. I'll bring my notebook.
Yeah, exactly. I could definitely think of some things, but it's past 5. Should we?
Yeah, I was literally just gonna go. Who's playing Mark today? And tell us that it's 5 o'clock. We gotta go.
Yeah. Well,
sorry, Mike didn't show up. Everybody.
Yeah, but hiking the world. It's beautiful out here, so I'm sure it's like the weather out in my neck of the woods. I haven't
seen the sky since I started this band. MCA. He's on the mic, my man. Born and bred
Brooklyn, USA. They call me Adam Young, MCA.
Any big plans for the weekend or no?
Walker's birthday is Monday, so we started our 4-day weekend today. Even Mimi took the day off and is working from home.
Oh,
I'm working on Walker Young's Untitled Progress thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Process or progress? I always
progress.
It's the opposite of what I think it is. Uh-oh, is this Steve's book?
That looks like popcorn. No.
Mimi Rosen stuff.
Mimi Rosen.
The Amazon packages. Yep.
Nothing cool. It's something normal. Hey, speaking of that, can I show you what I got real fast?
One thing for you.
Let me show Steve. I got.
Oh, I saw you. Did you actually open it?
This is the box that is just not. It's not part of it. This is a tenor. This is just something somebody made as if it was.
Yeah, as if they made the large Star Wars Han Solo S.
Yeah, this is the box that came in. Android Hunter.
Oh, right. I've seen those. That's awesome.
We were talking about it on the Blade Runner forum, and this particular one has 2 sculpts. And I'd only seen the original one back in the day when, coincidentally, I was working for a comic store in Massachusetts. But it was kind of like it ends up looking a little cartoony. Yeah. Man, that was all we had. That thing's fucking perfect for not being able to have freeze frame and 3D scans of fucking Harrison Ford like you have now. Yeah. Oh, McFarlane's made a perfect thing. Oh, okay. Make a perfect thing in 1983, right? Right. So they actually they changed it and did a better sculpt.
So they did a new
85 or 86, but I have the old one because that's the one I like.
That's awesome.
It's kind of just outside of here. Let me get.
Yeah, go grab it. I want to see it. That's funny.
Where did I put it? I don't even know. Oh, here he is. I thought he was in the back, but he was just right now. But like, look at his little face.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hey, Harrison Ford. He's got a little painted,
No, that's sick. Oh,
Dude,
that's so
I
cool.
fucking love this. But they're all like, now they're all like, look at the coat. It's too dark compared to his suit. I'm like, you'll shut up.
Just there's
Anyway,
nothing beats the first one you had. That's awesome. Maybe I'll watch Blade Runner. What do I got playing in the back? Oh, I'm jamming.
My favorite thing, just real quick, I tell Walker all the time, my favorite movie is Blade Runner 2001, depending on whether my awesome view of the future has space suits or flying cars. And I've been telling him all the time, like, look, you're going to have to get like kind of like now. He'd be ready now. But when he was younger, I'm like, hey, let's watch your favorite movie. I'm like, we can't. It's going to crush me if you don't like it. And I don't think you're going to understand what I like it now. And I think he's ready now. But so I get this thing. I'm like, hey, man, check it out. I got this Blade Runner thing. I love Blade Runner. And he goes, Harrison Ford is the star of Blade Runner?
Yeah, I do.
Dude, talking about this all these years, I forgot to tell him that one of his favorite actors is the main guy.
Yes. Yeah,
so it's kind of funny. I felt like an idiot dad.
I think you would enjoy it. What I was saying was I might watch. Oh, what am I jumping to? Oh, I'm watching 1964, The Hero of Rome. I've been watching. I went down this weird rabbit hole. This is what happens. So do you want to see what happens when you watched as many movies as I have?
Yeah.
The rabbit holes become weirder. So I went on this kick of trying to find like
live in the rabbit holes.
Yeah. Of like watching like all of the iterations of Hercules. Because I really like the Lou Ferrigno Hercules, and I've seen the Rock one and the one that came recently, and then there's Kellen Lutz does a Hercules. So I've seen like the newer ones, and then I keep on going back, and I keep on going back and back and back. And now I'm in the 60s, and I'm watching all of these all these old, really not good quality. But let me tell you something. Tubi,
yeah,
God bless that service. They have, who knows who owns the rights, but they play them all. So I've been watching all these really old, like horrible, like Roman gladiator movies, and they're actually not that bad. But this is what happens when you turn into me, when you're like, do I want to watch Ghostbusters 1,000 times? No, I'll watch whatever just started. I don't even know. An old Sword and Sandals film.
Yeah, that's cool. Sword and Sandals. The Steve Reeves Hercules from 58 or 59. That's the one I like.
Yeah, that's a classic. The Ferrigno ones in the 90s are pretty solid.
Yeah.
I mean 80s. And then anyway, that's what but I'll change it up. I'll go a little sci-fi for a bit. That'll be fun. So,
hey, well, thanks for talking to me. That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
I was love chatting with you.
Yeah, and happy birthday. Tomorrow we're taking Harper to laser tag with her friends. Her birthday is the 30th.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I forgot you guys are super close in birthdays. So happy birthday
tag.
A little early. Laser tag.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, we'll see. So
we'll see. Fun for the kids. Maybe not for me.
10 girls running around playing laser tag. I didn't chalk that up as an 11-year-old birthday party, but hey, what does dad know?
It's what she wants to do. That's cool.
Exactly. So awesome. Well, you guys
have
a great...
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Yeah. I guess we'll see you later. I should probably turn this up.